You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Bar Rescue After Show.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are all in, and we hope you are too. This is Bar Rescue, Season 3, Episode 12, Don't Judge a Book by Its Bottle. Interesting title. Obviously, we all know what it's referencing. I am your host, Phil Svitek, joining alongside, by the wet blanket himself, Ian Keiser.
Hello.
From last week, you may remember him. He's taking the place of Chrisley Kennedy, who was over at Comic-Con, but will be rejoining us. We do have Dorinda Barker back. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
And all 17 years worth of bar experience.
Yeah,
Of course.
I'm an old lady
And
now.
we have Keven Undergaro, co-founder of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Thank you very much for having me.
And John Taffer favorite.
Yes, well, I can only be so lucky. Marissa, do you have to go out so fast on Sammy? We don't even get to enjoy it. See, Ian, did you like our Bar Rescue theme song?
Love the Bar
Because
Rescue.
you know what? This is John Taffer, because you can count on him. You can count, right?
Yeah.
He says, I'll be there.
The whole vibe of the show makes me want to start drinking again, to be honest.
Doesn't it really?
Yes. Watching Bar Rescue, then the music now on the podcast.
And what, right?
We should serve drinks during the show.
We really
fact,
should.
actually,
We've
yeah.
talked about it.
Oh, it has been
Wait,
discussed.
somebody was supposed to bring a margarita machine once.
Okay, next week, margarita machine.
Okay.
And you know what? No, because Dorinda, you know you make the kick-ass margaritas. I know you do.
I've been known to make a few or two that people have liked.
Well, we have James calling in a little bit later in the show.
James,
so
all in.
All in.
All
He's
in.
all in for this one, so I can't wait to talk to him. But let's get right into it. Let's start with the Recon. This is in Raleigh, North Carolina. And luckily, I do have to thank our engineer, Stephen Lemieux, because he actually dialed this episode in for us because he is from North Carolina.
And he knows.
He has mutual friends of Samir. So I don't know.
Samir was,
okay.
for people who don't remember, Samir was the chef that
was called in because they had a closet that was just being unused for anything.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Unused space, and it still had roaches running around. I didn't understand that. And it was definitely a kitchen.
It was a kitchen. We have seen worse.
Yes, we have definitely seen much worse.
We've seen worse, but this is another classic example of someone, semi-successful or successful in one business and just wanting to live the childhood dream of opening a bar.
But it's great to me how, in the opposite of what John Taffer is to rescuing bars, you have this owner, Brandon, and, okay, I need some changes. Call in my friend James, who's 40 years old and DJs. I make changes, bro.
All in. I was so annoyed for the first moment I saw that man, and I know he's calling in, so I shouldn't say very mean things.
I'm happy to
but-
defend him, by the way.
No!
He's going to take so much hate, and I'm ready to defend him.
Okay,
No,
I want to hear this.
You're being facetious.
So my take on him, all his credo of all in, he means that. That's the way he lives his life. He's all in. But he's completely
all
inept.
into a bottle.
No, he's inept. I don't think it's because he doesn't want to be great at what he does. I think he's not capable of it. I think he has every intention when he goes in to try to make it happen.
No, but trying is like him tripping, him like spilling bottles, like, hey, I can make that drink, or I can teach you how to make that. Like, that's
Yeah.
trying, not like, hey, give me some more champagne.
Owner of the Pirate Bar.
Yeah.
Owner of the Cockroach Bar in Texas.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say he's after that top 5 most ridiculous bar rescue characters.
I thought he was.
What'd you
I thought
say?
he was. I thought he was number 2 next to Pirates, and then the cockroach guy.
Well, the cockroach guy was
the one. No,
Dorinda. He
okay,
was
you're
menacing.
right. He was. Oh, he was.
There was just
he was
darkness.
evil.
He was just.
evil.
I mean, he was a Marvel supervillain. I mean, all he, that he ruled the cockroach world. He had
he kind of almost looked like
he
Willem
looked like
Dafoe
one.
from like.
Yeah, he looked like his character Cockroach. So I mean, but after him, I'm going to say could be one of the most ridiculous.
I'm not saying he was a good manager. Ridiculous, yes, but
but effective at his job.
No, it's completely ineffective.
What, Ian?
But we're going to talk to him today, and I guarantee he's never managed anywhere. I bet you he's never worked in the service industry in his life.
Ian, all I could think of, as I saw the episode, was he was totally set up to fail because he should have never been hired. Period.
Correct.
End of story.
And I want to know why he was hired. Like, I know that Brandon said he brought him in because, hype man and everything like that. But
Kevin's got the answer.
Go ahead.
He hired him. It's someone he knew, so it was an easy hire. One, and two, mainly because he convinced him, listen, bro, I'll bring tons of people in there. I'll get them drinking. I'll get it fun. I'll be DJing. You'll see. You know how many people I know. You know how I am. You know how good I am. I'll do it. And then it's like, you know what? He is my friend. I do know him. And yeah, you know what? He's more extroverted. I'm the one working landscaping every day. I don't know a lot of people. And so that's how I see you getting sucked into it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, but I was surprised with Brandon when saying both of his businesses were going to go down because of this business.
That was eating all.
Yeah, it was eating up everything.
Well, he seemed like a nice guy. And you know how we have the guys that open bars on the side for fun that are douchebags, and then we have the ones that are nice guys. Like the comedy club guy was a nice guy, and I thought last week's guy was nice. The doctor was. There was a really nice side to him, and I feel like you don't think this guy's nice.
No,
the owner?
Oh no, the owner. I thought you were talking. I mean,
no, we're talking about Brandon.
We're talking about Brandon. Yes, Brandon. Yes, I think he was a nice guy, and he did say, because I opened a bar because I always wanted to do that.
Right.
And when people do that, my heart breaks for them a little bit, because what they're in for, if they don't know the business, and they don't know the business, they think it's just good. I'm gonna get a bunch of bottles of liquor, bring people in, have music, get a cute bartender, and serve drinks.
And some of them don't even think that. They don't even think the cute bartender, and they don't even think the music, Dorinda. You're giving far too much credit. Like, that's a pretty successful formula right there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Sorry. That's me without even thinking.
Right. So,
So,
again, that's you.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of the actual Recon itself, I mean, it was interesting, the girl bartender, she didn't do anything. It wasn't as extensive as it usually is, I don't think.
Well, I think they took up a lot of time with James.
Yeah,
that was a big chunk of the show. As far as
the all-in montage, which we probably should have counted.
That would have been a great drinking game.
Now
we gotta watch it
That's
again.
alcohol poisoning right
Marissa?
there. There's no way.
A lot of people in your world say all in. No. Tess?
Not all in.
Tess, you're what, 16, 17? 16. Does anyone ever say all in? Never. Oh, jeez. Well,
I play
he's an
poker,
innovator.
so it happens there, but never
And
in a bar scenario.
In poker, they say they throw that out there. I'm all in, bro. I'm all in.
Oh no, only within the game, in the context of the game, I'm all in. But that's the only place I've ever heard it.
But I want to talk more so than the all in. He kept also referring to, dude, I'm the manager. Do what I say, which is not an effective strategy for any employee, especially if you're that incompetent.
Yeah, and then he had the one girl, Lita, who was all over him. So you could definitely tell that they were probably dating and everything.
Yep.
So, I mean, there was so much to it. I mean, I found him quite funny. I mean, I laughed a lot. He made me laugh.
About him, I think part of the reason I do have an affinity for him, and he is horrifying when I watch him. But when
did you? I mean, I want to know what you thought of the Pirates episode. Which, by the way, we did the whole episode last week. We didn't mention the Pirates won. Did we?
Oh, yeah, we didn't.
This one we got out in the first 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So, but go ahead. So you clearly didn't see that because you would have defended them too, I'm sure.
No,
I just want to say that I definitely horrifying and I'm not sure even very likable necessarily. We'll hear from him soon, so I don't want to snap to judgment. But when I was a drinker, I had a couple friends who manage bars like this. They're great to be friends with. If you could befriend someone like this and hang out
Because-
at their
right,
bar,
because-
it's awesome.
And you know why?
Oh,
Because they are hooking you up at
Yes.
someone else's expense.
Absolutely. And it's
Worst
not in-
kind of guy.
You could see that in sobriety now. I see some of that. But at the time, you're like, the drinks and the part where it's being treated like VIP.
At someone's expense,
Yes,
else's expense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
I see too much of that where, even in our business, where it's all about hooking up other people at someone else's expense.
Yes.
Like that's so much of our business, you know. And yeah, it's always hard to watch. You know. And by the way, and then the girl called him out, called the drinks out. Like, wait, this doesn't really taste like. I think it was Tanqueray. I'm not sure what it was.
Oh, it was supposed to be Tanqueray Martini, and she was like, it doesn't taste right. She goes, this doesn't, because with gin, there are different flavors to gin, not as well as vodka is, but you can taste like the different medicinal herbs and everything else like that in gin. And then when we found out what we found out, I not to say that I don't know bars who have done that, and I'm not saying if I worked at them or not, but I know that it happens, but it's just disgusting for the fact that they were doing that and what they charge people, because what you get, one bottle of like Crystal Palace, we'll just say, right, which is house vodka, that's like $3-4, and then you're charging probably like 10, especially here in LA, you're probably charging $10 to $15 a drink, and they're paying for that, and they're paying for Grey Goose, but what they're really getting is this Crystal Palace, which is, swig. It's
I like Taffer's, he had that one line, it's not a mistake, it's a choice you made.
I love that.
Yes.
So great.
God,
I looked
so
at Maria, my girlfriend. I'm like, okay, another great Tafferism, another great quote to apply to our general lives.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so true. Tess, it's not a mistake in life. It's a choice. Okay? That baby you want to bring into the world at 16? Okay? Not a mistake. It's a choice. Thank you. Okay.
I'm curious.
But by the way, it's a great quote.
By the way, Tess is our intern here at AfterBuzz TV. For those of you listening at home, being like, WTF?
Exactly. The more you know.
Are the margins the same on a expensive bottle and a inexpensive bottle? Is the markup the same amount, or are you charging exponentially more on a?
No, it's the same.
Okay, so backing up, so Dorinda, this is good. Did you work 17 years at one bar or several? I hope.
Several.
Good.
Several.
Okay, because as I watched this episode, and all of the filth. Now, this wasn't as filthy as some of the others.
Oh, we've seen some awful.
But when you saw them wipe the soda fountain, you saw them wipe the top layer of the bar. You saw the roaches. And I said to myself, I don't know if I'm ever going to order a well drink again from a bar. I think I'm just going to stick with bottled beer because I feel
or
like
wine.
Right,
Because you know what you're getting.
Yeah, because it's but even wine, it's like I can't crack that bottle.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, as I'm saying that about that, how often does the marrying bottles happen? Because I know from my experience, I heard it happens a lot.
Well, in my experience.
And by the way, marrying
yeah.
bottles is the term for it, correct?
It's a term.
It's
You
when
marry bottles, but there's two ways to marry bottles. You can marry bottles, like let's say you have two Absolute bottles, and they're both like one's almost done and the other one's still like half full. You marry it, that's kind of deal. The marrying bottles they were taking Absolute and then taking the swill and mixing it together. And basically by the time as long as they've been doing it, it was probably just swill that they were doing.
Right. So, but my question is, how often?
Oh, I mean, I've been in places we do it every night. We would do it every night.
Wow.
Every night you would marry?
Yeah, bottles. Because depending on how busy you are. So at the end of the night, let's say I've been in bars where we'd ring like 4,000 a night, 4,000 or 5,000 a night, just me alone.
Okay.
So you would have bottles that were almost empty. So you would just marry it and just put up a new bottle.
Okay, so there's that, but then how many times would you see them pirated?
You know what? I have to say I've been lucky in all my years. I might have seen it once or twice.
Could it have been done behind your back?
Yeah, I'm sure it probably could. Especially also with thievery and stuff like that. Other bartenders make up for it by buying a bottle of something and pouring it into another bottle, so you never know that someone's stealing.
So yeah, so there's even crooked people behind the bar.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Okay, could be a slight defense of James. I feel as though what would incentivize him to implement that? I felt like that's something that the owner would know about. Maybe as I'm thinking about it, maybe not. Maybe that's how
I
he
don't
looked
think
like a
so.
hero.
I think here's the thing.
Was he
I
was
think
he
he
skimming
knew.
too?
I think he probably knew that was going on, but they did it so well, making it seem like Brandon didn't know. Because there are things that you know and things you don't know. And if he was in charge of the billing and the accounting and ordering at all, if he knew any of that stuff, and if that's what you're doing all the time, and you're not ordering any other products, any name product, you know what's going on. So I'm sure he knew a little bit. I just think.
But I think that this was a time James would have protested. He would have said, don't you think? I mean, we got skewered on this. Don't you think he would have said, hey, you knew about it too?
I think that he fell on the sword for his friend because I didn't think he was going to get fired.
Well, that's
Was he
redeemed.
taffering him?
Yeah, for taffering.
I got taffered. I love it.
Oh my
Which
goodness.
is great. I mean, he was a very emotional man.
There's a problem with alcohol there. And we've seen
Yeah.
this many times in the episodes. And he was not a bar manager. He's probably DJ would be fine. Maybe a promoter.
Yeah, that's probably what he was.
Probably a promoter, but a manager, it's different.
How blind was Brandon to this whole thing? And blind in two senses. One as in like literally, or one as in like the metaphorical of like he saw it, but because it was his friend, he was blind.
Well, I
to
think,
it.
what was it, Josh put it perfectly. One of the bartenders, I think it was Josh. It's either Josh or Rocky, I can't remember, said he turns a blind eye to it because that's his friend, and them together are not good. That's what he had said.
Okay. I'll accept that answer.
Yeah.
And I think it's what we've seen from the hobbyist bar owner. It's a fun. I've worked all week landscaping, and now Friday, Saturday night I can go into my bar, have a few drinks, and James makes it fun.
Yeah.
Maybe, at least to him because they're friends. And then oh geez, why aren't we making money? And I don't know. Maybe it'll turn around next month. Maybe we'll get more people, and
It's so funny to me because what with the bar tabs he was giving away, like $200 in a night, and they only rang $600.
Right.
So think about that.
Quarter.
Yeah, you're 25% of your bar you gave away in a night. You should never do that, never, or at least don't ring it up. But they rang everything up, which was, if you're gonna do that, I wouldn't ring anything up because then I don't want to see the numbers.
So for $400, what do you think the economics behind a bar like that are to make your nut for your rent?
I
to pay
can't
your
even
employees?
imagine. He wasn't making his rent.
Right,
I mean,
that's right, yeah.
he wasn't making his nut because he was $250,000 in a hole,
Yeah.
and he only had 2 months, and then he was gonna be done in everything, every aspect of his life, financially done.
Yeah.
Financially ruined. So.
Well, we're getting word that we have James here on the line. Hello, James. Hello, are you there?
James, are you all in?
Yes, I'm all in.
Bravo, James.
What can I say? What can I say?
You're great television.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, you do a lot for camera.
Yeah, well done. well done.
Well, how much of it was?
If you can't,
Go ahead.
I try to do the best of what I could do, so I went actually all in.
You did go all in. Yeah, you did commit.
Yeah. I give you props for that.
You have to. I'm actually getting T-shirts made with all in on them.
Nice.
Are you gonna copyright that or trademark it?
Actually, it's in the process right now.
Great work. An AfterBuzz exclusive.
Fantastic.
Marissa, where's my drop?
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
Thank you, Marissa. Look at that.
James, what was your background like in the service industry, and then talk about your relationship with Brandon also. I'm curious about how that relationship formed and how you guys go back.
Sure, I'll tell you the whole. I've been in the hotel business for most of my life, doing hotel sales. After that, I was in the restaurant business, and I met Brandon by coming into my restaurant. And after that, Brandon and I became good friends. He had a bar called S Lounge, and he wanted me to come run it, so I did. Then he opened another bar called Cashmere. He was having problems, so I went over there and I turned it around. And then after 3 years, I told him, we got big issues. You need to put more money into this place or you're going to continue losing money. And he goes, well, I don't have any money, so what do we do? So I got in contact with, because I heard through the grapevine, Bar Rescue was going to be in the area. Brandon thought I was nuts. I said, we could get the show. I'll act like an idiot as long as everybody else acts like idiots. Let's do this.
Wow.
So that's what we did. And on December 10th, I actually am looking at the email right now I wrote him with this script that I wrote for Bar Rescue and him corresponding back and forth to me.
When you say him, who's him?
Brandon Clentworth.
Oh, the owner, Brandon Clockwork.
So you know what's interesting?
The owner.
If you're a fan of Bar Rescue, it seemed like you were. You would remember the episode where they took a bar called the Angry Ham, and there was a fellow by the name of Lyndon Byers who was kind of in your position, and he was the one that reached out to Bar Rescue. This isn't the first time, only to have the guillotine fall on his head. Kind of like
Correct.
with your situation. So it's something. And backing up before we get into that, so Brandon owned a bar before this, so he wasn't really a rookie.
No, not at all. He owned S Lounge for about, it's probably about 7 years he kept S Lounge for.
Successful or not successful?
No, it was very successful. It was just time for a change, and that's why he decided to go to Cashmere.
Okay, so he
Because
changed.
the area that bar was in, just going downhill.
So he changed S Lounge to Cashmere, or he sold S Lounge.
Changed location.
Changed locations.
Okay.
Okay, and then Cashmere for the first few years made money,
Correct. Oh, yeah, I did really well.
and then just the competition brought it down.
Yeah, I mean, we went from, it was an area where it used to have 4 bars and clubs to an area that went to, like, it's 60 bars and clubs.
Wow.
Did you
So,
start?
there was too much supply and not enough demand.
Gotcha.
Were you hired at the first bar as a manager, and that was your position
I was
throughout?
there, yes.
Oh.
Because we had you for promotions and DJing.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to hire you
Yeah,
for.
I have a DJ business on the side called Blue Steel. I came up with it about a year ago when I was in the club business. And I just was intrigued by, you can make money doing this on the side. So I focused on weddings and corporate events and just started a business from it.
Now,
So, you could go to, my website is bluesteelspins.com.
Yeah, aka allin.org. All right, go ahead. What else, Phil?
So with Bar Rescue, once you guys had the script, what was the goal? Was it to just literally, get a remodel done? Like, what was the benefit for
The
you
goal
guys?
was to get a remodel so Brandon would stop losing money. So I told Brandon, we got to take this to the extreme. You'd see from the email I wrote, we were corresponding back and forth. I said, if we take it to the extreme, just act like idiots, just tell them how screwed up we are, I think we could get the show, and I'll ham it up in front of the camera. Well, back in December, they called. They came into town, their production company, which I believe was Media Flower. They interviewed everybody. They loved us. We kept on going back and forth, and then in around February, January, Brandon and I decided to cut ties because I got sick of the business. My girlfriend didn't like me in the business. I have 2 kids. So I just said, Brandon, I'm going to just DJ for you, and I'll step down as the general manager. So he said, okay. And then all of a sudden, he gets a call from Bar Rescue saying, we'd love to do the show. Is everybody still there? Because we really want James, and without James, there's no show.
True that, right?
And that was perfect.
I
what he
agree
said.
on that 100%.
We all agree with that. No James, no show.
Well, thanks. I don't know how to take that, but okay. So then, and I said, well, I don't know if I'm going to come back and do the show, Brandon. What is this going to do to my reputation? And he goes, I'll tell you what, if I ever sell the club over the next few months after getting the renovation, I'll give you 10% of what I sell it for. And since he's a good friend, I'm going to take his word for it. But part of me feels like he threw me under the bus because, everybody was acting like angels and I was the only one playing the part. And after the first 2 days of filming, I was just like, okay, this show is based around me. You know what? I'm not coming back. So I didn't go back, and that's why you hear Brandon fire me on the phone, which he wasn't even talking to me because I didn't talk to him that day.
That felt, yeah.
And were you?
Like, considering you're mic'd up the whole time, so there, you know how this stuff works. Phil and Kevin, I know, Phil, you've done some acting. Kevin, you're a producer. You know, they say there's hidden cameras. I mean, these cameras are the size of globes that sit on your desk. They got them everywhere. And, you know, hidden, I mean, we had 12 trailers out back of the club. I mean, how are you saying it's a real show and these are real people? You know, when the patrons would come in, they'd make them sign a release form. That's not reality.
Right. We even do that though here, and I have talked to we've talked to some of the other bar owners. We've done reconnaissance, at least with the LA bars, and at least their experience was different. You know, they signed the releases, the cameras rolled, and they just, you know, they did what they did, and John just kind of went off the way he went off.
Well, they also,
Correct.
James went into it with a different intent, you know, to get publicity, and what maybe didn't approach it in the most real way necessarily.
So you know what Ian is? Just so you know, James, Ian's our guy that even though, like we've said this about you before, even though you're Jewish, you would have been the ones you would have been defending the Nazis, right? Because why? They have a right to defense as well, right?
I suppose.
So he's
all
been,
about free speech.
So so he's been
all right.
defending you from the beginning. He's your biggest fan, James. So anyway.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, he
Thank
defended
you.
from the get-go.
I'll send you a free T-shirt. Actually,
All
I'll send
in.
all you guys.
I love that. All in. We'll wear them next week.
So James, I do have a question.
Hey, I'll do it.
So James, I want to know about the marrying of the bottles. Did Brandon know about it? I said yes.
I don't know if I should answer that question.
That's
because
enough of
That's
an
enough
answer.
right there.
That's
Thank
enough
you
of an
very
answer.
much.
That
Oh,
was-
here we go, Ian.
No,
your
but I'm
your
curious. So
counsel's
the
gonna-
answer, to expand on that, how much of, you know, your character might have been a creation, but the dirt, the mirroring of the bottles,
that's-
was that stuff real? And keep in mind, we understand you'd left at that point and come back for the show, so maybe it got that way while you were gone. But how much of that was real?
Well, think of it this way. Their brand is Tanqueray 10. And the first scene you see is a lady going, "This doesn't taste like Tanqueray." I think what they did was, you know, they told me what direction they were going in. Al, the producer, came to me and goes, "Just play along. Play along." So I got caught off guard with the Mary on the bottle, so I said, I was hoping Brandon would jump in. So I said, well, screw it, you know, yeah. You know, we married bottles. I did it. You know, I took responsibility or whatever. Because I knew the direction they were going when I heard about the lady saying something about Tanqueray. They were trying to bring in their product. You know, their Ciroc, their Tanqueray. So that's what the show was based on, that and me being a screwed-up GM that drinks all the time and parties like a rock star.
Okay, now when you did the stress test, James, were you trying to be a good manager at that point?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? It was, you know, I gave it my all at that point. When I was the manager, what I did, you know, I just said, okay, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to be perfect. And maybe I'll see something turning around. And when I went through the stress test, I mean, I was the only one. You know, they would tell you, like John Tapp would say, get behind the bar and help him out. And he was yelling at me earlier going, well, wait a second, you need to just focus in on managing. So he tells me to jump behind the bar. I jump behind the bar. Then I'm getting yelled at him later on going, what are you doing behind the bar on camera? And Troy's going, oh, what are you doing? It says off camera, or not to me. He says, yeah, James was just in the way by being behind the bar.
Right. And now, what was your relationship like with James and Rocky and the other staff members?
Well, I'm James.
I mean, I'm sorry, with Rocky and the
you know, they're great friends of mine. You know, I just really thought they were stepping up and, you know, going with the script.
Are they still your friends?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, you know, you can't, I don't look at them, you know, they don't have the balls I do to do what I do. So, and not to have my back, whatever, you know, I think they were scared shitless of John Tapp is basically it.
Right.
You know,
where for us.
I mean, a lot of the employees you saw on camera weren't really employees of ours. Like the girl you see, Lita, that I pick up at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
Heather, the blonde cocktail waitress. Heather is actually Brandon's attorney's girlfriend.
Okay.
I mean, Lita is a patron of the bar, and she was actually waiting on her boyfriend that you see on the show. So that played a patron. So I'm just telling you, when you talk about real and reality,
What about
there's
the
a fine line.
and the female bartender?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yeah, what was Chelsea's story?
Chelsea's a little slow. I always tell the story about Chelsea where she used to work at Hooters. I believe she still does. And we went in there one day, Brandon and I actually, and we ordered a pitcher of beer. And she came back and she brought back the beer. I said, the beer is warm. She goes, the frozer's broke. So she's not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed.
Oh, bless her heart. Bless her heart.
I know. We love her, though. She's just a great personality. She brought in, a lot of friends. And, she calls me her big brother. Even though, I love the part where they showed me acting like, passed out on the couch.
Right.
And then I said, oh, yeah, I passed out last night. And as you can see, I'm in a different shirt. If that was correct, I'd be in the same shirt from
So you
the night
didn't.
I
So you
passed
didn't
out.
pass out. You didn't
No,
pass.
I didn't pass out that night.
Were you really drinking for effect, or were you not even drinking that night?
The night that I'll admit I was drinking the night when, when it all, the first scene you see me getting all crazy, that was me drinking, because Brandon was like, Brandon and the producer talked to me outside before we got mic'd up and said, look, you got to go to the extreme tonight, make this good. This could be the night John Taft walks in. We knew he was coming in the first night or the second night.
So it was a
what I
surprise
did
either
was
way.
I said,
That's
okay.
good to know.
So they're feeding you shots. And then the producer comes over to me to the side when the camera's not on me. They were filming something else, and he says, hey, James, take off your shirt. So I take off my shirt. And then I go in the DJ booth, and you hear this music's playing, which is not my style to begin with. And then you hear the music skipping, which I play MP3s. I don't play records, which is not even possible.
Right.
Yeah.
What type of music do you play for clarification?
Thank you, Ian, 'cause I was just about to ask that.
Ask what?
What type of music, just for clarification, do you spin normally?
Normally, I'm very diverse, but mainly top 40 remixes because that's what Raleigh really likes or whatnot. They gave me a CD to play because, they can't play Cashmere, they can't play Nicki Minaj, they can't play
it's
those
clearance
people.
issues, and I get that. What is your relationship like now with Brandon?
He really wanted me to come to the premiere party. I didn't think I should just because I'm kind of upset at the fact he's benefiting me and I haven't seen a dime yet. But he's benefiting. I didn't want to benefit the club again, because I knew if I go down there, more people will show up. I mean, I'm getting phone calls. Yeah, he asked me to actually DJ that night,
And And they're gonna
review part.
I mean,
so now I'm
personally, you
getting
should.
phone calls from all the clubs from downtown asking me to DJ.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because they know, right? They know I can bring the crowd now. I mean, it's funny how my I started my Twitter account not too long ago. And I went from 150 followers to now I'm at 4 something today. I'm like, what is going on? And everybody's just starting to follow me on Twitter.
And they'll repeat the heck out of it as well over the next few years. So that's great.
Right.
So here's the thing. How's the bar doing now? I mean, I know that you're not part of it, but how is the bar doing? Like, are they?
This is hilarious. All right, the bar doing. First of all, let me go back to something. When they come back and they see how the bar is doing, at the end of the show, and they say the bar is up 30%. Now that it's dual.
Yes.
Let me be honest with you. They came back a week later. And they went to Fayetteville. After they filmed Cashmere, they went to Fayetteville. They came back in a week. I guess their planes left from RDU. And they came into Cashmere and said they were up 30%. I know everybody at that club. They are dying right now. Their next door neighbor is a big chain steakhouse. and they're so upset because now it's like a true nightclub. I don't know if John Tapp just didn't do his homework, because I can't believe that he didn't go more in the direction of a lounge, making it more of a lounge type aspect. So to answer your question, the only busy night they're having right now, they're doing like this college rave night on Wednesdays, and they're running it 18 and up from Wednesday through Wednesday through Friday. They're 18 and up.
Do you not believe in Santa Claus either? Did you really just have to? Brandon, did you have to? James. Sorry, I'm really flustered right now. Well,
why are you flustered?
I'm flustered because you just peel back the curtain, and for us and we've talked to some of the other bar owners. We've personally visited some of the other bars, and they've told us stuff that's different. That's all. Stop, Ian.
No, but again, it's not.
I don't want to hear from defense right now.
No,
okay?
it may have been real.
My God, please. He just told me the Easter Bunny doesn't exist. There's no Santa.
He killed Santa.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, you can follow it on Twitter. I actually posted the email from Brandon and I corresponding with one another. So if you go to @Iadanza72, that's @JIAD as in David, ANZA 72, you'll see the script. I mean, I hate to disappoint you guys, but
no, okay, but here's
it is what it is.
But here's a couple things why. Okay, so you went and did that, James. So to me, you forfeited your 10% of like what you could have gotten if he sold this, because now I feel like you're alienating your relationship with Brandon. And I would have personally, I could see you not going to the club, although I would have gone. I would have embraced it. I would have wrapped my arms around it, and I would have followed through all the way. But that's just me. But the fact that you did that with him, that wasn't really smart, because now it seems like you if there was a 10% deal on the table, you just flushed it down the toilet. But it also, to me, that kind of cuts into your credibility as what kind of successful manager you would be if that's the decision you would make. Go ahead, Ian. No, your defense attorney's here. Please, Ian.
Don't worry, Jay. I just want to say your DJ business is going to be fine, and don't be surprised if they come to you for your own reality show. All right, buddy?
Yeah.
So don't listen to Kevin.
Oh, and the way you promote yourself is amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to.
Everybody dies when you were. Yeah.
When you were promoting your T-shirts and things like that, and you know what, and that's all great, but that's not someone that I want managing my bar. So to me, it's like if.
But I'm not looking to be a manager
exactly.
anymore.
Exactly.
But you were.
Who wants to be in the nightclub business at 40 years old?
But you were at one time, James.
After this happened, guys, I bought all the rights to all the all-in websites you can imagine.
Okay, and that's good, but again, that just speaks to someone who's in business for themselves and not someone that I would have running a bar. And so when I look back, it's like, okay, some of the stuff might have been cooked, but John, if John were just given these facts, which from what I know, we have the same friends, the same management team. I also, Bram Pinvich, the second.
Remember, I wasn't running the bar technically at that
time.
Okay,
but I also want to back up and defend John. Is a lot of times John gets this information. In most of these cases, he doesn't know. This is like all low-level producers running around cooking their schemes. I know John will throw someone through a wall, and he has. When you work with him, he's as tough as. Ian, let me finish. He's as tough on the bars as he is on the production crews. I know this for a fact because he has so much integrity. So all he got was what he see is what he got, as far as, and if I saw you, I would have fired you too.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to defend your point, actually. Well, also the pitch, they pitched it as, and correct me if I'm wrong, James, but they pitched it as if it was real, as if James was a mess of a manager. So the information that they had.
I was still the manager. That's the way they pitched it.
Yes.
I mean, originally my girlfriend, Media Flower, says if your girlfriend does the show, you have a better chance of getting it. So I knew my girlfriend wasn't going to do it. Because she thinks I'm a friggin' idiot. So I knew she wasn't. There was no way. So she goes, well, why don't you get somebody to play my part? So that's the direction we did. Well, then they changed the script. When Lita came on, That's the girl I'm picking up at the beginning. She was supposed to be my girlfriend on the show. Well, the production crews, Al, I'll never forget this, took me and Brandon outside, and he was confused because they were calling her Maureen, which is my girlfriend, and then they called her Lita, and they said, what's going on here? And so we were honest with the producer, and we said, look, you know, we thought she was going to play James' girlfriend, and his girlfriend didn't want to do it. He goes, well, if John Tapper finds out, you know you could lose this whole show. So we were like, okay, well, sorry. So that's when they went in another direction and had Lita play the hostess.
Well, because it was based on according
So
to what.
John never knew. Technically,
Right.
the producer knew.
That's
but
right.
John didn't know.
Right.
Okay.
John's
So
a great
basically,
guy. I thought he was pretty cool off camera.
So you're
He's
telling
a
me
bear
this
in
whole
front of the camera.
okay. So
But he's a great guy. And behind the scenes, he's very down to earth, very cool. You know, so I love him.
And I mean, and I do think he did a ton of work on that bar. I mean, I agree when you come. I mean, when you come in for 4 days, you know, I know one of the things that just for me, I've talked to older
But
business.
they do got to pay their people, though. Okay.
What,
I mean, to brag about Angie List, and then our local paper, the online on News and Observer, wrote a story about this, and one of the comments was the guy that was one of the painters said, yeah, I painted the lines in the club. When am I going to get paid? I cleared 28 hours of my schedule, slept 3 hours, you know, and then he promotes how Angie List, and you can't even pay these people?
yeah, but that's
You know,
again,
it's
that's not. But that's not John. That's Spike. That's the
And
production
the
companies.
company.
And this is why it sucks because
I'm just throwing it all in a bucket.
You're right.
Yeah.
But by the way, and everyone all the civilians that are outside of production have all the same complaints. But it's you know, these shows have to be monetized. It's just a different beast altogether. What I was going to say is if you have 4 days to do anything, one of the things I just even noticed about, I talked to older businessmen in their 80s and 90s who are retired, and they say the one thing that's changed is you used to have more time to make business decisions. Today, it's just between, you know, new media and whatnot, everything being available at your fingertips, it's the decisions have to be rapid fire. And for John to go in there in 4 days and figure out whether this should be a lounge or a nightclub or what, I mean, and to go as far as he does, to me, the bar looked beautiful. I loved from the outside, you know, because he didn't have signage to work with, the fact that it looked fun and sexy on the outside. I mean, maybe he needed more time to get there, but you know, for me, I get like probably some of this stuff is like cooked up and it needs to be, but
and the other way you got to look at this is also, you know, they did a great job renovating it. I get that, but it was the wrong concept. They're next to a luxury chain steakhouse, a very well-known steakhouse. That, you know, the plates are $60-$75 a head, and you're putting a true nightclub where you're going to have it 18 and up. What do you think you know, I mean, the steakhouse has been there 10 years. Brandon has a short-term lease. They're going to kick him out right at the end of the lease.
But is it because he had a dance? Was it did Brandon want a dance club?
Dueling Djs, I know the DJ business. It'll never happen. Not in Raleigh, North Carolina. Maybe in New York, Miami, but not Vegas, but not in Raleigh.
Yeah, but the thing with Brandon making an 18 and up club, that's his choice to make it an 18 and up club. He can change his concept if he wants to change his concept. So you can't blame the show for what they were doing because they were just following a concept that was already there.
Yeah, because it was a dance club, right? It was
Yeah.
a dance club with a DJ.
So I mean,
It's not like John was going to say, okay, now it's a country bar.
yeah,
Right?
he wasn't going to do that. I mean, at some episodes he's changed things around, but he's never gone really off book of what it was beforehand. So that's what that club, what Cashmere was a club. That's what they kept it as. He just
kept it as.
Yeah, he kept it as
What
what
I
it was.
don't understand if you have, you know, Brandon had a problem with, they threatened to kick him out before. His landlord threatened to kick us out at the time I was working there.
Mm-hmm.
Because because the steakhouse next door, now you know what brand it is, but because the steakhouse next door said, we don't want this loud music, we don't want the kids, you know, young crowd through our doors. And Brandon convinced his landlord, he said, look, you know, we think we got Bar Rescue, you know they're going to come in, maybe will fit for more of your clientele and play off of each other. So now the place next door is now even more pissed than they were because the crowd is younger. I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying it's the wrong concept for the demographics of the area.
I once again, I understand what you're saying, but then that is something where we don't know what went on behind the scenes. But if they wanted that change, that's something that Brandon would have probably had mentioned. That's what they wanted.
All in. I'm telling you everything.
I know it. I'm all in on this phone call. A little bit, like I said, just a couple of things just rattled me. My takeaways. I'm down on Brandon. Because I had mentioned at the top of the show. I wonder how much he knew. I threw the question out. Dorinda, of course, being the sharp one, knew that he probably knew more than he was leading on to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Say he knew everything. I mean, look at the email. Check out, at Iadanza72. On Twitter. You'll see it. It's plain. It's black and white.
Well,
it's the actual email that we sent to one another.
I just had one talking about the food next door. I'm curious, James, when was the choice to do away with the food made? Because obviously the chef that came back had been there before. So how long had the club gone without food?
Before it was renovated?
Yeah.
Probably about 8 months, 9 months, somewhere around there.
You were still...
I mean, they've already stopped the food with the new concept. The food is gone again. Right. And the guy that was the chef is now a bartender.
Oh, Samir?
I can't make this shit up. I mean, This is good shit.
All right. Is there anything else you need to promote before we hang up and I talk behind your back?
I don't mind you talking behind my back. I mean, it's fine.
No, I get it.
I've already promoted, BlueSteelSpins.com, and told you to follow me on Twitter, and I got to send you guys some T-shirts.
Please.
So
we will. We'll represent. We'll represent.
Send T-shirts.
Yeah, I will.
I will. I promise you that. Maybe I'll send some booty shorts too.
And we have you one of the top 5 characters from the history of Bar Rescue. We were talking about it tonight.
That'll be great. Who knows? I mean, I'm looking forward to my own reality show, I guess.
Oh, we've already rated you. You're up there. Up there.
No, I want to do Bar Rescue All Stars, and I want to get you, the lady who ran the Pirates Bar, the frustrated baseball player from the Canyon Inn.
Yes.
I want to get the cockroach owner. Yeah, no, I want to get you guys all together. And I don't know, maybe they'll throw a dinner party.
What are they doing? Running a bar?
They'll run a bar, something. Yeah, I have to. I mean, it's in the rough stages.
They have 2 weeks to come up with a bar concept.
Maybe we can do Survivor together, all of us.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that'd be fun.
Okay. Anyway.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
James. Thank you for calling in and talking to us.
Thank you for giving us a great hour of television as well.
Thank you, and I love you guys.
All right.
So I appreciate everything.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
By the way, we watched last night. This is why this is such a great show. I had my girlfriend's best friend, her parents, and my best friend. We all wanted to watch TV together in the screening room, and what would you watch that would be universal but this show? I said, trust me, everybody. And everyone was all in. Everyone loved it. Everyone was commenting about everything they saw. Anyway, all right, so come on. Can we just decompress about this scene?
That was thrilling.
Okay.
I hate to be like, na.
No.
But everyone go back and watch last week and see what Keven had to say at the end of last week's episode. I feel vindicated, all right?
Why are you vindicated? Why are you vindicated? This guy, stop. This guy has, I don't know if he's an alcoholic, but I would say he has addictive behavior, right?
Yeah.
He burned the bridge with Brandon. Now, I do believe that Brandon was not the saint he played himself up to be. Number one, I also believe that there are certain elements that segment producers do to deliver good TV to their bosses. That part I believe. But I think that adding up all that together, I'm not all in for everything he's saying. And I'm not all in that this is how the show is cooked every week. I'm just not.
No.
And I do want to defend the show, too. I can't stress enough.
No. You defend your boy, James.
But I can't stress enough the fact that he they went in, they falsified who they were going in. So the show,
which we see many of them do.
The Brixton, thank you very much.
Yeah, the Brixton,
that jerk.
that another vampire that ran the Brixton. He was like, he did the same thing. Ha ha, joke's on you. It's like, oh God, beat it, will you?
Yeah. So I think he's, by doing that, they set it up for that fake. I'm sure if somebody went in with real intent, I'm sure it would be a real hour of completely.
John has this pick of bars. There's thousands of bars that apply to these guys, saying, "Please come in."
Yeah.
And then he gets presented the information. And John, he runs a successful business. He doesn't have time to vet 5,000 or 10,000 bars. This is what the production company does. And so they'll say, "Here's the bar for you, and here's the manager who's a jerk, and here's the owner who's like the landscaper, and the ditzy bartender, and you've got to fix this in 4 days." Yeah,
and then they go in there with this story. So shame on them, by the way, shame on them. And it makes me very angry that they go and do this because, first of all, I love John Taffer, and half of those experts,
I'll flip this table on you.
It's not even
Oh,
funny.
really?
Like it makes me upset. And then you see an episode of a horse walks into a bar, which was real. These people dealing with addiction and almost losing everything.
Right.
That you're crying and you're tearing up.
And John, you know what? And John actually paid for his therapy that I found out off camera.
Yeah, and Russell still talks to them. So I have no respect for someone who goes in there and makes a mockery of something that wants to do good for people.
Get out of here, Ian. Get out of the studio. Really? No, like you being friend. This is your friend James. This is the people you'd be friends with.
I thought he was charming on the phone, but
No, listen.
No, listen.
Fun guy, like I said, everybody's friend. But what, Ian? You hear me say it all the time. Everybody's friend, because I'm sure James is everybody's friend, but nobody can finish this. Anybody?
I get this 8,000 times. Go ahead, try to finish
Mercer,
it.
can you finish it? Everybody's friend, but
I
no.
have to think about
Oh
that.
my God! Have I just beaten this into them so bad that you guys? It didn't. Phil, now you know why I repeat myself 100 times.
Wait, let me
I
go
might
through.
not say promises, not choices, but I have a couple of gems. Good.
You can scam all you want, but you got to work.
You have to
Does that
work.
apply for this?
Yeah.
Anyway?
But you got to work. It does apply to this.
It does.
But-
It does, because
Yeah.
you know what? You can
They
scam
did
all
the
you
work.
want. You can be at that bar. You can flirt with girls. But you know what? As long as you work, as long as the bar is working, the bar's cleaned down, the drinks are moving, you're making money, scam all you want. But first order of business, you got to work. So I stand by that one. But no, go, Phil, please. I want you to fill this in for me. So James is everybody's friend, but
No, this is too
I want to know. I have never heard.
But not anyone's.
no, you guys, listen. There's just some people out there that you like. Oh, he's like friends with everybody, and I'll say, yep, he's everybody's friend, but nobody's friend.
What did I say?
I don't know.
But no one else
clearly no one listens to
But
me,
no one else is.
which is
It
fine.
was almost the same thing, but
Everybody's friend,
not.
but nobody's friend.
But that,
You
yeah,
know?
well,
And
and
when you're a
that's,
friend, you fall on your sword and you stand by people. And you know what? Like, anyway, I don't know.
But
I'm
here's the crazy part to me: the fact that they thought, okay, so John's gonna fix this bar, and he's gonna do it in such a way that it's gonna make the steakhouse happy. How is John to know that? Hey, you know what? We got to work on this relationship with the steakhouse.
well, there never was anybody talking about a steakhouse
Right.
at all. So there was never talk of another restaurant around them or the problems that they were having with the other restaurant.
Right,
As
which we've
he
seen in
was
other
just-
episodes. We've seen like the politics that John's gone
Yeah.
that far. Like, hey, we got to go talk to the town. We got to make friends with some of these other bars. Remember? Like, none of that came up.
Yeah, and that annoyed me too. And blaming the show, blaming Bar Rescue for not making it something that it should have been.
A candy store?
Yeah.
You didn't make it a candy
Well,
store.
he couldn't.
Why
Again,
did he do that?
he wasn't going to change a dance bar over to a country bar. Like that's
No,
too
it's not
drastic
gonna
of a change. The
happen.
only time you make a drastic change when it's a pirates bar. I mean, that's the only time.
By the way, they also use an excerpt from the Pirates Bar when they were showing Jesse Barnes, and there was the one-eyed guy.
Oh, one-eyed peas.
One-eyed Pete. And I was like, pirates, once again.
We need one. No, and you know what? Dorinda, you're good at this stuff. Can you get One-Eyed Pete on the show?
I would love to get One-Eyed Pete on the show.
One-Eyed Pete, I would take a bullet for One-Eyed Pete.
I thought we were going to take him as a staff member here.
I want him. No,
That
we
means you have to think
A,
about
could
here
definitely
to do
use a
like
pirate on staff, and B, I liked him because he tried. He went against the grain. He was all in, Ian, not your boy. By the way, Dorinda mentioned our new studios, and I said to her, she was blown away. Dorinda hasn't been here since April, and I said, yeah, John Taffer came in and gave us a podcast rescue.
I got jealous.
And she believed it.
I believed it.
No, but anyway, we'll hopefully be
speaking
proud.
of this, we've obviously debated this episode in particular, so I encourage you guys to let us know your thoughts on iTunes. Let us know what you guys think and all that fun stuff. And also, because they may, Keven and Ian may disagree on things, but they can come together. And they came together for 4 years on a movie called Adventures of Serial
That's
Buddies.
right. We made a movie together.
What a segue that was. That was
Nice.
brilliant.
Nice.
You did that so
Excellent.
well.
James
Whoa,
would be proud. Excellent
there you
plug.
go.
Adventures of Serial Buddies. It is out now on iTunes. Go to serialbuddies.com. It is I'll let you promote it. You've gotten good at this over there.
The first serial killer buddy film, and every download is another day AfterBuzz stays on the air. We look at it that way. We've already had a ton of downloads thanks to you guys, but we can always use more.
And just tell friends, spread the word.
We need bandwidth.
We need
just
bandwidth.
like Walt on Breaking Bad needs what's the ingredient they need that's so expensive? Star Trek needs dilithium crystals. We'll say that. I'll really geek out for you. But we need it. We need bandwidth, and by downloading Serial Buddies, Adventures of Serial Buddies.
And it's getting amazing reviews. If you guys are tracking that kind of stuff, so definitely check it out.
We need you to be all in.
All in, baby.
And all in. So, and I know because Marissa's really honest because we are just where James took up a lot of our time. Is there anything we missed in talking to James about the stress test, the remodel, or the renovation?
I'm sure everything.
Really? No, I mean no. He covered the ditzy bartender. I didn't know. I didn't know much about Rocky as the manager. I mean, he seemed like he was.
He seemed like he was doing a great
He
job.
was doing a good job. I love the idea of the dueling DJs, and I also loved the lights. I thought the lighting was amazing.
What about the butt funnel?
The butt funnel was
the
amazing.
double butt funnel.
Yeah, well, he did that last year, didn't he? But he was named something else.
I think that was the Taffer Wall or something.
Yeah,
it was
the
called
Taffer
Bar or something.
Taffer
I don't know.
something.
I don't know.
The Taffer
There was something
twist?
similar. There
No.
was the concept was there, but I don't think we've seen certainly not the double butt funnel, the deepest butt funnel.
And
love John
I
Taffer.
did look like it did. I'm with you, Ian. Though we agree on that. I think it's a fun place to drink. Like when I see these shows, I'm like, don't you want to get back into bar life?
That's a bar, especially after the remodel. That's definitely a bar I'd find myself.
Yeah,
in.
because I loved it. I loved how the artwork.
Yes.
I thought it was so great.
artwork.
And they really just changed the whole place around, which I didn't think going in. Actually, the bar did not look that bad. We've seen worse bars when you
Right.
walk
Well, they kept
into-
the actual marble bar top.
Yeah.
But they just brought it up. It went from vanilla ice cream to Heath Bar Crunch.
Yeah, you're right.
And the food was great too. I mean, they didn't really go into that.
I liked
too
a
much.
nice simple menu. I like that. We know.
And it was for sharing mainly.
Yeah.
And I can see why it's not there now. I mean, I could see why it just was too much for them that place to handle. But I liked the simple menu. And again, I can't say. I mean, but you guys, even to design something that quickly, we know from designing the studios, it takes a long time to really sketch, and so to go in that quickly and do that.
Can you explain to me the dueling? Can we go back to that though? The dueling DJs.
Yeah.
To me, I've seen dueling pianos before. I'm just curious how dueling DJs, because it sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like just awful.
No, I think
No.
no. I think you'd go from one song to another. I think
It's like back and forth, and,
right.
and each DJ is picking up the vibe of what's going on in the song.
Yeah.
And then they're picking up the beat, and
And they
as the
level
beat, and
to
it's
the-
all
that
it's
is
leveling
cool.
out, and
And
bring it in and meld it into
because
something.
A, I'm totally dope, and B, I'm totally down with the kids. The kids. That's why the kids love me. I'm amazing, right, Marissa? Right?
Absolutely.
Marissa loves me. Why? Because I know. I totally get the vibe.
Yeah.
I would love spinning.
But here,
No, because I have all these mad rhymes in my head too, Ian. I just got to get them out. Like I don't have the time. But
Do you have the time right now?
to do it,
I would
no.
love to see
I'm-
just
if we had the
kick
time.
a-
No,
kick a beat.
keep Marissa.
Marissa, start rolling the outro.
wait. Yeah,
What?
do it.
Oh, I vibing on it.
Take us out with the rap of,
You can
to the
do
fans.
What's
Bar
it?
Rescue rap.
No, okay, next week.
Next week. All
No,
right.
because you guys are like, why you're getting into my
He's
art?
gonna write it. He
No,
can't flow. He
you're
can't-
getting into my art right now. My goodness.
You're messing with my
Okay,
head.
so I take away from this episode that Bar Rescue is amazing. It's one of the best shows. It's not cooked. It's not fake, Ian. What's fake is you and your friend James.
And as an employee of AfterBuzz, I believe I'm required to toe
Oh,
the
no,
AfterBuzz line
stop
and
it.
defend.
No.
Oh, no, okay.
I would no because everyone knows you. You're the AfterBuzz villain. Defend James. Defend your boy. Go ahead. Ian Wet Blanket Keiser. Go ahead.
I'm beat.
No, go ahead.
I'm beat. No,
And by the way, James isn't fake, but that's all his. A lot of that's his perspective.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
and they
yes.
went in there with a story. They went in
Right,
there.
you went in there,
Yeah.
Agree with
with bad intentions and with dishonesty.
And because
So what did you expect in return?
yeah,
I'm
even
gonna
the
flip this
producer,
table. I'm gonna
even
throw
the
right at
producer
you,
said
Ian.
you can't tell us this stuff. You can get us in trouble.
Right.
He even mentioned that in his talk with us.
James and I we're blowing the whistle. James,
Really?
give me a call
You're gonna be
later.
a
I'm gonna
whistleblower?
represent you. Yes, we're gonna blow the roof off Bar Rescue. You and I, and then
You-
we're gonna go
you-
national with your DJ business.
You and
I
James.
am so excited.
You and James against me and Tapper. We will.
I'm scared of
steamroll
Tapper.
you.
I gotta be honest. I'm
Oh,
scared of
he's
that.
a-
I won't even have to get in the ring. I won't even have to get in the ring.
It's a stare down and you'd be gone.
God. Anyway,
Ian, you know you have to see Taffer at Maria's next birthday party on all these different events.
no. He says
I
he'll
won't.
come into the last. He said he may do the last episode this season. So if he does, I really want you here. Oh, that's so happening. Oh, you SOB.
And we're
You're
gonna bring this moment up right this moment
And
that
last
happened.
week-
I'm gonna be fired.
Oh,
Kevin, what are you doing with a guy like this?
oh, it'll be amazing.
Get rid of him.
All right, well,
Yeah.
thank you guys for listening. Another exciting episode is upon us next week. We'll be here. Ian is not fired, but he's back in Chicago, so he's not going to be here. But we will bring him back for the, whatever we want to call it, intervention,
To get
meet
yelled
and
at.
greet, whatever. Thank you guys for listening. Follow us here at AfterBuzz TV on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Dorinda, where can they find you? At Lula Cherry Films.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
There you go.
At Undergaro, even though I never tweet. I don't know why I
Ian,
have
you
it.
want to promote anything? Promote your
Yeah,
boy
give me a
James
call.
one more time.
847. No, I'm not gonna give my. Facebook.
Blue
Ian
Steel.
Keiser.
Anyway,
Ian.
thank you guys.
Zoolander.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Thank you, Marissa.
See you later.
Later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.